But for us as freestylers, it really changes the most important wind range we have to progress, which is basically, depending on your weight, from 12 to 20 knots. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I want to talk about the Air Pro in 15 square meter, because it is one of my favorite kites of all times. To me, it really changed how I freestyle, how I do unhooked freestyle on one side, and on the other side it really took me out of my comfort zone on many different aspects, which is why I decided to make this video for all my freestyle buddies out there, right after the intro. So, all the shots you saw were done, all the tricks you saw were done on this kite. It was back in June in Croatia, June 2015. And all of the shots were without any slow motion and any kind of post-production what might change the dynamic of the trick. What I actually think when I'm seeing myself riding in these shots is that they look very clean and very easy. On one side, of course, it's because I do these tricks thousands of times, but on the other side it's also the kite. And this kite is so good, in my opinion, for unhooked freestyle because it offers a extremely continuously and consistent pull. Which doesn't mean that it doesn't slack. It does slack, and you can also control the slack very precisely. For example, for a back mob, I need to have the slack very early, and for a heart attack, for example, or a KGB, I want to have the slack very late in the trick, because I need the pull of the kite to kind of do or finish or correct my rotation. So you still can choose when the kite should slack, but the way it loses the tension is very consistently, what makes it very reliable. And as well, of course, this is a general thing of big kites. Big kites are always easier for unhooked freestyle than small kites. But what this kite does very, very well is it goes very far to the wind window frame. So when you ride, when I, for example, riding to the left side, the Nexus 4, for example, was more in front of me, while this kite goes very far to the wind window frame. It's very interesting. On my first transition jumps I did with this kite, I actually flew backwards. So it's a bit like snow kiting. When you slow down right into the wind and do a transition, you start flying backwards. And this is due to the very thin front tube. I compared it. This front tube has more or less the diameter of the front tube of my 12 square meter Nexus 4. So I think it has a very high performance range. Like the performance of this kite is it happens in a very big part of the wind window, what makes it feel like a small kite, but it's not. It's still a big kite. So you fly this kite, you can loop it, you can do everything with this. You have this consistent pull of a big kite, but it doesn't feel like a big kite. And this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest advantage of this 15 square meter Air Pro. I also want to talk about the setup I'm riding. As you see, I have 2 bars, and this is a combination. This is the bar I'm riding at the moment. It's a combination. I'm showing you this bar because I want to be honest. It's a combination of a Sensor 3 Wake bar and a Sensor 4 Pro bar. What I basically did was taking the bar of the Wake bar and also the chicken loop of the Wake bar onto the Sensor 4 Pro lines. So I have the low V, I have the whole safety and release system of the Sensor 4 bar, but on a short bar. If you want to buy a small bar, this is the standard bar. You can always ride this bar and take off the floaters and flip them around. And also you can choose one smaller bar, it's the compact bar, where you can also once again take off the floaters and flip them around 180 degrees, and then you have also a very nice compact and crispy bar for Anuk Freestyle. Well, and last but not least, I think what is of course the board. I'm riding at the moment the 142 centimeter board. I'm still riding the Bolt because it's bulletproof, because I prefer to ride over rocks, over whatever I find, over roads. You saw me riding almost everywhere, and this is because of this grind base on the back. The new Choice is also available in 142, and I compared the rocker line and everything, so the new Choice is also a very nice freestyle board if you want to go on a bigger board in boots. So my weight is 83 kilograms, and I'm riding the 142 Bolt. Feel free to leave me a comment below if you want to know what board you should ride in boots and in straps. Yeah, and last but not least, I want to talk about how the Air Pro changed my riding, because it did. My biggest kite back then was the Nexus 4 and 15 square meter. This was the biggest kite I was riding. And I rode it a lot. I really liked it. And I liked it because it had this consistent pull, but it still felt like a big kite. What the Air Pro does, and this is what the Exotech version can't do, because the front tube is not as stiff as the front tube of the Air Pro. It stays extremely strong in gusts and also glides very secure through wind holes. What I feel, and this is what really changed the way I ride in light wind, is that the Air Pro catches the gust instantly and transfers it into speed and power. So with a Exotech kite, for example with the Air, you see the gust coming on the water, you feel the gust in the kite, you start to speed up, but in this moment, when you got the speed and the power in the kite, the gust is already gone. So the kite, because it has this movement in the frame or in the front tube, because the front tube is not as stiff, kind of takes the gust with a delay. And this is what the Air Pro doesn't do. So when the gust is kicking in, it catches it instantly and you instantly feel it on the bar. So what I basically do now is I see the wind on the water, I see a gust is coming, and then I already prepare for the trick even before the gust has reached my kite. And when I feel it, I instantly take off. And this is something what is very unique with the Air Pro, and this is really something that made me, I don't know how to say it, that made me kite differently. Well, let's summarize my 10-minute speech quickly at the end. The Air Pro is of course much more expensive than the Air version because of the Alula. And also the Alula material is much more sensitive than the Exotech Dacron material. But for us as freestylers, it really changes the most important wind range we have to progress, which is basically, depending on your weight, from 12 to 20 knots. The wind range of the Air Pro is very big, and the pull is extremely continuously and very predictable. As well, it handles gusts much better than every dark-run kite ever can, and it doesn't feel like a big kite, so it's very reactive and goes very far to the wind window frame. And this combination, of course, is also nice for any other discipline. But, and this is why I'm making this video, I think most people wouldn't expect a kite like this, with a shape like the Air Pro has, to be such a good freestyle kite. So I can highly recommend to give it a try, and yeah, let me know in the comment section how you liked it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you soon again. Peace!